Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing today? I am doing great. I forgot to turn on my lights here. Let's get the lights on. I'm very late today, and I'm behind, and just all over the road. I had to kick some in-laws out of the house so I could stream for you guys. So there's that, and I gotta get all the lights set up properly. As you can see, my old nemesis, the sun, is out today, and it is full force sun today on Saturday. It should be illegal, but it is not. Hi, how's it going? Today is Saturday, so I've got a handful of fun things to talk about. I've got some links to look at, some things to rant about, some stories to look at, some updates, and then yeah, that'll be a good time.
Any of it just subscribed for 11 months in a row.
Any of it just turned another frog gay. 11 months in a row. It's amazing, folks. Nobody can beat his record. Nobody can beat his streak. He has turned more frogs gay than you can ever imagine. It's a skill that very few people have, but any of it has lots of that skill. He absolutely does. He actually resubbed a few streams ago, and Twitch keeps begging me to share it. Oh, okay, interesting. It's a thing. So yeah, if you want to be as cool as him and turn frogs gay, you just have to sub on the Twitch. You can do that with Jeff Bezos money with your free Twitch Prime sub, or you can just do that, or you can just give me gifts of money. That's okay too. All of it is appreciated, and all of it is here for 11 months in a row. That's amazing. Thank you, sir. You might have the record at this point. I'm not sure, but you might. So yeah, hi. What are we doing today? What are we talking about? Let's start with some good news. Let's start with some fun stuff. I don't have a dog with me at the moment. I have an extra dog today also. So if there's too much barking going on, I will go and hit them. But yeah, we have one extra bark boy today, and if Bobo comes up here, I'll put him up on screen. He does like to nap about this time, around noon or so is when he gets his afternoon nap. He wakes up at 6 or 7 and then just runs around like a lunatic until about 11 or so, and then he slows down and falls asleep, and then he sleeps for about 2 or 3 hours, then he runs around like a lunatic for a few more hours. That's just his schedule. So we're living on his schedule, not mine. So if he comes up here and tries to take a nap, I'll put him up on screen. Let's do what's in the title. How about that, Waldo? Do what's in the title. What's in the title? Donnie is so mad. He is so angry about the Kennedy Center, and I could not be happier. This is good. I love it when he doesn't get what he wants, and it just makes me happy when he does not get the things that he wants. Here he is, truthing it out. Shockingly, a judge appointed by
Bobo
Barack.
doing nothing to stop the Trump allegations.
You might be right. He might be related. Shocking, a judge appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, Christopher Cooper, ruled that the Kennedy Center, which was going to close in early July for large-scale renovations and construction due to years of neglect, decay, and poor maintenance, and which was to be transformed by the Trump administration into the finest facility of its kind anywhere in the world, is not allowed to close for these renovations, which would not be possible to properly do without such a closure. Additionally, Judge Cooper ruled that the 36-member board of trustees, which unanimously voted to add the name Trump to the former Kennedy Center, making it the Trump Kennedy Center, did not have the right to do such an addition, and the name Trump must be removed. He's mad, y'all. He is mad. Yeah, you're right. You have to use the full name. You can't say President Obama or former President Obama or anything like that. You have to say Barack Hussein Obama. Has to be done. Obama. You have to do it that way. By law, according to Donald Trump, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me at all if he passed an executive order that tried to force every news organization to say Barack Hussein Obama, his full name. Put the Hussein in there every single time you talk about him. He would sign that executive order, and he would think it's just totally cool and legal. But he's very angry about this. Oh my God, they're taking his name off of the thing. They're taking his name off of the thing.
He didn't capitalize his middle name. So I'm unconvinced Trump wrote this XD.
Well, Trump goes back and forth on the capitalizations. He doesn't know how to use them properly. He just uses them to show off certain words, and he's inconsistent pretty often. So being inconsistent there doesn't surprise me at all. So what happened? We told him this. He knew this. Anyone with a brain knew that you can't change the name. The president doesn't get to change the name of that place. Only the Congress can do that. Anybody with a brain could have told him that. If he were surrounded by actual lawyers and people who knew how the government worked, they would have told him that. They would have said, no, you can't do that. Only the Congress can. If you want your name added to it, go to Congress, tell them, and explain it to them. He's not surrounded by competent people. He's surrounded by kiss asses, by yes men, by weak, pathetic bitch boys who are trying to ride on his coattails to a fascist utopia. They don't know how the government works. They don't know how the Senate works. They don't know how the Congress works. They don't know what the president is allowed to do. They're very dumb. They assume that the president is the king for 4 years and just does whatever he damn well feels like. And they thought that that's what Biden and Obama did because the shitty news media told them that. It's not real. It's not true. You can't believe the things that the news media tells you, especially the right-wing news media, which is most of the news media. You can't believe them. When they say things, you have to actually go out and determine what is true. And what they're saying ain't usually true. So he changed the name. He told some poor bastard on a cherry picker to go up there and staple his name to the thing. And then they said, you can't do that. That's illegal. Only Congress can do that. And then he got sued. And then the judge said, yeah, only Congress can do that. It's written down right here in the law book. Take it down. But they hate that. They don't like that shit. That's liberal. That's the deep state, folks. The deep state is when the people get together and tell the government how to act and write it down in a book and then call it the law. Okay, that's the deep state. It's just the deep state to write down what the president is allowed to do and what he's not allowed to do, and then publish it, and then everybody votes on it, and everybody agrees on it, and everybody follows it for 245 years or so, and then when Donnie takes over, he throws it all out the window. Madness, insanity, horseshit. But he's very mad. We have more evidence of him being very mad. Here we go. Trump furiously demands the judge who blocked the renovation project to be criminally charged. The judge who upheld the law as it was written, the way it was written, read it, understood it. We all knew that what Donald was doing was illegal. We knew that. We knew that. You can, in fact, read the law before you take actions. You can. You can read the laws and find out what's allowed and what's not. They're right there in the books. But MAGA doesn't know how to read. So what we end up with is action for action's sake. They rush around, they staple his name to the damn thing.
Charge that judge with being a nerd.
Charge him with being a nerd. Any of it's right. He read the law and he read the rules and he told you what the rules were. That's nerd shit, if I ever heard of it. So let's see. President Donald Trump erupted on Saturday in a 720-plus word social media post. We'll look at that in a sec. We might not read all of it, but we might. It's delightful. Over a judge ruling ordering him to remove his name from the Kennedy Center and halt renovation project. A rant that culminated with the president demanding the judge be criminally charged. U.S. District Judge Casey Cooper recently ruled that the Trump's Kennedy Center renovations were unlawful, citing Congress's authority to rename the iconic Performing Arts Center. In his lengthy social media post, Trump attacked Cooper's wife. So the judge's wife was a Justice Department prosecutor under Clinton and former President Joe Biden personal attorney, which means that she has to be a radical left Democrat. In Trump's poisoned, brain-dead, dipshit brain, he thinks that there are two justices. There's two sets of justice. There's Democrat justice and there's Republican justice. And anybody who's ever voted for a Democrat, ever, if you voted for Jimmy Carter, you are not allowed to judge Donald Trump because he is a Republican and he is a conservative, and you cannot be held without bias. You can't do anything without that Democrat bias in his poisoned, disgusting, brain-dead head. He thinks that only conservative justices should try his cases, and they all agree with him, and that's why they are conservative justices, because they were picked by him to agree with him. He doesn't understand what justice is. He does not know what the judges are. He is an absolute moron. Well, that's cool, but it's wrong. You can love him if you want, but he's a moron. He doesn't understand what justice is. He doesn't know what a judge does. He doesn't know how they're chosen. He doesn't know what the law is. He doesn't know what it says. He's too dumb to read. And he refuses to read because he would have to wear reading glasses. But that would make him look like a nerd, and he's anti-nerd. So let's read this absolutely cockamamie, insane, horseshit truth tweet post. Can you imagine? A Barack Hussein Obama judge named Christopher Cooper has stopped a magnificent structural and aesthetic rebuilding of the Trump Kennedy Center, where millions of dollars of material, marble, furniture, steel, air conditioning, heating, and so much else was ordered or soon to be ordered, with the end result being a structure that would no longer be in a potential state of collapse, rusted, rotted, and rat and bug infested, to one that would be the finest anywhere in the world. It was necessary to close the center in order to get this work done. It's not possible to have a major and very dangerous construction job. I'm slowly losing the voice. Including the replacement of structural beams, audiences innocently going to watch a play. The marble is in terrible shape. The pipes are gone. The air conditioning and heating system were 65 years old and no longer functioning. It was all being torn out and replaced by a brand new carrier equipment. Okay, great. Boss, if you want them to improve it, get the Senate and the Congress to approve it. That's all you have to do. Follow the rules. Follow the laws. But he does not like to follow laws. He likes to dictate his feelings. Now that won't happen anymore because a judge whose wife is an anti-Trump hater, and he is too, decided unprecedentedly to not allow desperately needed rebuilding renovation to go forward because you did it in the incorrect way, boss. Follow the rules. On top of that, he said rip his name off the building. He's got 20 days to do so. Did he say rip his name off the building? I don't think so. But the name was put on there unlawfully, outside of the normal lawful procedures. Even though a large board of some of the most distinguished people in the country voted unanimously to put the name up. No, you picked your friends and put them on the board. And then if they voted no, you would have kicked them off and replaced them with someone else. This is cronyism. I didn't do it. No. He didn't put that up. He didn't tell them to do that. No. It was the board that he handpicked. Because they thought it would be good for this dying institution, which is doing record low business. It's a government, it's a memorial. It's a place for people to gather and it's a community center, basically. You go there, they put up they have a board, they decide what things to put on for the world, for the community, to make the world a better place. It's not a money-making scheme. It's not a business opportunity. It's not interested in ROI. But he doesn't comprehend that. He doesn't understand that. He's never understood the idea of doing something for the community. He does not get it. If you're not being paid, why would you ever do anything? Especially after COVID, only getting worse. True for other institutions throughout the country, but the Trump Kennedy Center was going to be a special one. It would have fully recovered when none of the others will. What the fuck is he on about? It would have been a new standard of excellence, one of my many gifts to Washington, D.C. Get the Congress to sign off on it, and it will be fine. The new building would have been incomparable, beautiful marble, chandeliers, rugs, blah, 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 blah. Trump-hating judge wants to keep open because his wife probably told him to do so. Again, it was unlawfully done. It was done improperly. It was a dog howling. Dogs are all alone, and now they're crying. Baby-ass dogs. All right. Cooper's wife Amy Jeffries, who doesn't use the Cooper name because they, as a couple,
He
don't want
loves
people to
reminding
know.
us how sexist he is.
I know, and this is again horseshit. She probably already had a career under a certain name, and so she didn't take his name, and because she didn't take his name, she must be some sort of woke feminazi and hateful towards all men, and especially alpha men like Donald Trump. She has a conflict of interest because she was trying to be duplicitous. She was trying to be sneaky. She was trying to sneak that shit in there so you wouldn't know. Oh, nobody could possibly know that she's related to Mr. Cooper because her name is Jeffrey. Shut the fuck up. No, nobody in the country knew who these two people were until you started pissing and moaning about it. Fucking crybaby bitch.
She probably owns a medical or law practice or something XD.
Right, and didn't want to change her name. Right, that makes sense. She's a radical left Democrat who worked as a federal prosecutor and counselor to Obama's Attorney General, Eric Holder. Lots of people work for the government. Lots of lawyers work for the government. It's full of lawyers. They show up there often. It's full of lawyers. The whole place is lousy with fucking law professionals. Probably because they make right and execute the laws. Now, if you are a moron, if you are a low IQ piece of shit, you lump all lawyers into Obama lawyers or Trump lawyers, Republican lawyers or Democrat lawyers, and then you lie about how good of a job they can or can't do based on your personal politics. This is obviously biased by this shit. She worked behind the scenes for the January 6th Unselect Committee and of political hacks and thugs. Now we're into the fucking ramble, boy. We are just bringing everything out. Obama, the Unselect Committee, the thugs, the dirty cop FBI, Lisa Page, and Hillary Clinton email scandal, Russia hoax, and her millions of dollars settlement, even though she was guilty as hell. We're back to Russia. He is just streaming this shit. Sleepy Joe Biden and the release of his audio tapes and more. She worked for the legal firm that represented E. Jean Carroll, who received a decision against me, now under appeal. That was shocking the entire world. E. Jean Carroll is being attacked by the Department of Justice because in court she proved Donald Trump a rapist. Donald Trump raped her, and she proved it in court. That's why the DOJ is going after her. So, if he commits a crime and you can prove it in court, the Donald Trump DOJ will go after you. Sounds like weaponization to me. Conservatives, MAGA. Mr. Ray Rickson, you keep telling me how much you like Donald Trump, yet he's proven in court to be a rapist, and you like it when the DOJ comes after the people who prove that. Donald Trump is a bad guy. And I'm not even talking just like a little bit, like a lot of bit. He's the worst human being America has ever produced. But you like that, don't you? Conservatives love that shit. Conservatives love that Donald Trump is a bad guy. They love the idea that I don't like him. They like it when the liberals and the leftists don't like a thing. They will burn this country to the ground just because some liberals live in it. It's madness. Anyway, let's keep reading. Amy is totally wired into the left system from her husband down, and it is impossible for me to be treated fairly. Because you're a criminal. Donnie, you can't be treated fairly in a court of law because you are a liar who breaks the law. They do not treat you fairly. You're a criminal. He has a total conflict of interest and should be brought up on charges for not revealing these facts. Not revealing these facts. Again, this is Donnie, again, not knowing things that other people know. If Donald didn't know it, nobody knew it. He's got the fucking brain of a toddler. If he doesn't know it, then nobody knew it. And it's a secret that no one revealed the facts. Boss, listen. The court knows who was married to who. They do. You didn't know that. I've never heard of these people before. So obviously I didn't know that. But because he didn't know it, means nobody knew it. Nobody in the government has ever figured this out. Nobody had ever put the pieces together. That's why the Kennedy Center will soon be closed. probably never to open again. He's so full of shit. This is why, at a different level and with different players, our country lost the tariff case. Again, what the fuck has the tariff case got to do with this shit? And is forced to pay back $149 billion in money received from the people who hate everything we stand
Clarence
for.
Thomas doing that Homer hiding in the bushes meme XD.
Yeah, it is. So the tariff case, now we're on about tariffs. Now we're rambling insanely about tariffs. Forced to pay back $149 billion in taxes that he took from the consumers. And hate for everything we stand for. No, I do hate it. It's true. I do hate it when Donald Trump, the fascist, hurts my country. I do hate that. It does trigger me. I apologize. Then, let's see. E.G. Carroll doesn't even know the date. Boss, she proved it in court. Go argue with the fucking court. It's literally a fact within court records that it happened. Factually, within the court of law, that has been proven. But the facts disagree with your feelings, so you discard the facts. They don't care about your feelings, bro. The fact that Donald Trump is proven to be a rapist in court upsets you, and so you disregard that fact. The facts don't care about your feelings. I heard that from somebody famous one time. Let's keep reading. They are laughing all the way to the bank. How stupid we are. All the way to the bank. Bro, it was the American people that paid those tariffs. And some of them might get some of that money back. But probably not. It's going to go back to the companies. One half-sentence clause from the Supreme Court would have saved us incalculable amount of money that you taxed from the people. And that is probably why our country will lose its birthright citizenship case. Christ on a cracker. What is he talking about? The birthright citizenship case is no case. It's already proven. We already know what the Constitution says, but Donald Trump hates the Constitution. He hates what it says. No other country in the world has birthright citizenship, and it's totally unaffordable. He's so full of shit. Canada and Mexico and many other first world countries all have birthright citizenship. He's flat out lying right here. If you think that this is a true statement, it's not. It's a lie. And it isn't unaffordable. The fuck is he talking about? Unaffordable. He's just making shit up because our court system is rigged and no different than our political system is rigged, and the people of our country know it. And that is why I got overwhelmingly elected president in record numbers. We will fight, fight, fight. Okay. So madness, insanity. He is very, very angry, and I am very, very happy. Is that just me being a what's the word? Where I disagree. I just disagree with him. I forget the word. Am I just happy because he's losing? Yes, I'm glad he's losing. I'm glad that the courts finally, eventually, gets around to telling him, no, you can't do these things. The tariffs were unlawful, and we knew it. Am I being petty? Yeah, exactly. Am I being petty? No. Because the things he wants to do are harmful to the country. The tariffs are harmful. They were illegal. We knew they were illegal ahead of time, and then a judge eventually, because the legal system works very slowly, told him you can't do that. That's illegal. That's a tax. Only Congress can impose taxes, not the president. Anyone with a brain could have told him that. I said it before he even got elected. That's not lawful, because I read it from people I trust. Not that I'm a lawyer. Not since the incident, anyway. And I'm not legally allowed to talk about the incident, so I'm not going to discuss it, even if you ask. So yeah, the people who have law degrees, the intelligent people, said you can't do that. Then he did it. Then a judge says, no, you can't do that. Same thing for the Kennedy Center. Only Congress can change the name. Only Congress can add his name on there. Only Congress can approve the money to renovate the damn thing. And he did not go through Congress to get those things done. He's doing things unlawfully. If I show up at the DMV with no documentation, no paperwork, and I refuse to sign my name, and I just go about the process all wrong, they won't give me a driver's license. You have to follow the rules. You show up on time. You put in the thing. You sign the paper where they tell you to. You sign on the dotted line where they tell you to, and then they process the paperwork, and then it's government work. MAGA hates government work. They think that Joe Biden and Barack Obama just waved their magic wands around. Here's my magic wand. They just waved them around and told people what to do. That's what they think happened because they're dumb. Because Fox News and OAN lie to them on a daily fucking basis. It poisons their brain. So they think that Obama just pointed and said, make Obamacare happen. And then it happened. And then Joe Biden just says, what did he do? Make the, what did he do? He did the Anti-Inflation Act. What was it? The Build Back Better. Make Build Back Better happen. And then it did happen. No, man, they put together a plan. They found out what was legal. They talked to their the lawyers that are surrounding them. And then they gave that to the House to read and look over. Then the House voted for it. And then it passed to the Senate. And then they fought and they argued and they went back and forth. And then finally it was passed. And then the courts still fucking sued them anyway. If you weren't around, if you weren't paying attention to politics back when the Affordable Care Act passed, it was 6 months at least of fucking fighting and arguing over it. It was a whole fucking summer of nothing but arguing over tiny little minutia, tiny little details within the House bill for the Affordable Care Act. He didn't just walk out and say, and sign it with a big Sharpie marker and say, Affordable Care Act, here you go, done, go. They put in the work. They put out 900 pages of policy. Yes, that's a lot. Yes, that's bureaucracy. That's what the government is supposed to do. They're supposed to be a bureaucracy. Obamacare is unaffordable? Right, because he didn't tax enough rich people for it. He didn't tax the wealthy to pay for the damn thing. And it didn't have a public option. It was dead on arrival. It wasn't far enough left, Ray. It was not far enough left. It gave a bunch of fucking money to insurance companies. Fuck them. I want them all to go out of business and their CEOs to fucking live in the poorhouse. I want them to fail. I want the government to take over all of your healthcare and put the insurance companies out of business. The only reason my wife is alive because of Obamacare. Yeah. Then why did Obama force it through? Because he works for those insurance companies. He benefits. He's a Democrat. He's not a leftist. He's a Democrat. Democrats are centrists. I know Fox News tells you otherwise, but they're centrists. I'm a leftist, and I'm telling you, public option, tax the shit out of health insurance companies until they suffer and wither and die. And then you scoop up their employees, make them into government employees to work for the now universal Medicare for everyone. That is the plan of a leftist.
I say they're conservatives.
Well, in any of it so far left that he thinks the Dems are conservatives. Donnie thinks that that's what happened. Donald Trump thinks that the magic wand and being president just means you're the king for 4 years. You get to do whatever you want and you say whatever the hell you want. And then everybody just does it. It's not how it works. There are actual rules and laws in place. And one of the laws is if you're going to change the name of the fucking Kennedy Center, it has to be approved by Congress. They did not approve putting his name on there. They did not approve paying money to fix the place up. If they had, then I don't get to complain. If Donald Trump went to the Congress with a plan to fix the Kennedy Center and they approved it, I wouldn't be upset about it. You can complain about spending, maybe. I'd be upset that they didn't tax enough of the wealthy to pay for it, but it still got approved. If the Congress had approved to put his name on there, I just wouldn't vote for that congressman anymore. But it wouldn't be unlawful. Don't worry, Ray, we'll get you universal health care someday. I know, right? Elijah Torres, you know that I'm angry about when they changed the Bill Parkway for Jackie Robertson. Oh, I hadn't heard about that. If you got a link, throw it into the Discord, by all means. Copy link. If you got a link to it or something like that you want me to look at, by all means, throw it in the Discord. They changed the tribute to the Kennedy Bridge. Maybe. Are they going to add his name to it? A bridge isn't a national monument, so maybe it's a state thing. I don't know. Maybe he could be added to that. Maybe he could be taken off of it. But there are laws in place on whether or not it's the Kennedy Bridge as well. There are probably some sort of rules involved. But Donnie doesn't like rules. He just does whatever the damn hell he wants. And he's very angry that the rules caught up with him. But that's what always happens with these guys. That's what always happens to Donald. He does a thing. It's unlawful. He doesn't do the process. The process is fake and gay and dumb, and he hates the process. Okay, process is bad. You know, you have to talk to people. You have to put out a plan. You have to put out your intentions. You have to get a environmental survey. You have to find out how much it's going to cost. You have to get 3 different estimates from different contractors to and then take the cheapest, and then you have to get the Congress to approve it, and then they don't want to because it's how's it going to affect their jobs and their constituency, and you have to convince them, and then the whip has to whip the votes, and they have to get them all up, and then we have to vote on it, and then you might lose, and then it might be embarrassing, and then you have to try again. That's how the government's supposed to work, not just dictates to his fucking feelings, which is what he thinks is supposed to happen. So let's do the next thing. This is just fun. Moving on to the next subject. Alaska Senate race takes a bizarre turn as a second Dan Sullivan files against GOP incumbent.
I think he's trying to make fun of us for caring that Trump is breaking the law.
I don't know what if you're picking on us, Eli. I don't get it. But it's not. Not bothering me. If you're making jokes, boss, they ain't landing. A second Dan Sullivan has hit Alaska. So this is fun. Dan Sullivan, a piece of shit, Republican, is running for Senate in Alaska. He's a little bit, maybe slightly behind the Democrat. Now, another man named Dan Sullivan, they have different middle names, is also running. Just to fuck him. Just to fuck with him. Just to be a dick. Is that fun and interesting? Yes. I think this is great. Is this a strategy we can use all the time? Maybe. Now, why would this work? Why would this work on Republicans? You already know the answer. They're dumb. They can't read. This might not work on Democrats. This might not work on the liberal population because they went to college and they can read. So there's your difference. Does running another guy.
Same thing happened to a Democrat in Florida a couple years ago.
Yeah, probably. And nobody in Florida can read. We all know that, right? Like, we all know. Nobody in Florida can read. You know that. I know that. Don't fucking at me. Don't come at me. Don't give me that woke bullshit. Okay? Nobody in Florida can read. We all know. And the reason this might work is because he's running as an independent, and the Republicans might just vote for the wrong guy or get confused and vote for the person, not the person that they want to. So I think this is funny. This is great. It's not illegal. It's not against the law either. So, and maybe if the independent Dan Sullivan just slices 1% off of the regular Dan Sullivan, the Democrat wins. And is that fuckery? Yes. Is it legal? Yeah, technically. Is it immoral? Maybe. But Republicans are immoral right now. The people who are on the right are anti-American fascists. So I'm glad when they lose. Eli says, I could go on, but what's the point? The Democrat gateway with all kinds of shit, and then that's okay. You have to understand ignorant people that vote for the Democratic Party don't know any better. Boss, the ignorant people are on the MAGA side. Constantly. They don't know anything. We're going to get to it later. That's probably the last thing we'll talk about tonight. I know that's the way you feel about the Democrats, Ray. That's because you've been tricked. You've been lied to by the media. So yeah, the Dems might win Alaska. They might win in Texas because let's look at this. because we've got Texas to talk about, and there's a bunch of drama to go on over here too. Tallarico leads Paxton in first Texas Senate poll after the GOP runoff. So Tallarico might be a little bit ahead. Well, dang it. Come on, Internet. Do it. Just days after Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton defeated Senator John Cornyn in the Texas state Republican runoff, a new poll finds that he is trailing the Democratic challenger, but only narrowly. A new poll by the Texas Public Opinion Research showed that Democrat candidates James Tallarico is pulling ahead of Paxton as he vies to become the new senator from Texas in November. Tallarico is trying to become the first Democrat to hold the seat since Senator Bob Kruger back in 1993. Paxton is trying to maintain Republican control of the seat. The poll comes as both campaigns work to consolidate their parties for the November general election. So I want Tallarico to win. Is he a Christian? Yes. Is he a better choice than the actual literal criminal, Ken Paxton? Yes. Ken Paxton has been found guilty, or did he was indicted on bribery charges. He was indicted on crime, and he cheats on his wives, and then he cheats on his hookers with other hookers. He is a bad fucking guy. But that's, again, conservatives love that shit. MAGA loves voting for criminals, people with a criminal past. They like doing that because they want to do it themselves. I've talked to conservative people. I've known more than enough of them. And deep down, they want to do all the crime. They just don't want to get caught. They don't want to pay the price. They don't want to pay the high-priced lawyer to get them out of it. They don't want to pay by going to jail. So they don't do those things. It's very similar for Christians as well. They want to do horrible, horrible things. If you ask them, the Christians will be like, "Yeah, if God doesn't punish you for all the horrible crimes, then what's to stop an atheist from doing all those horrible crimes?" Boss, I don't want to do those crimes. I'm an atheist and I don't want to hurt people, but because I feel like that's wrong. They don't get that. They don't recognize. There's a doggy back here. I'm going to grab him, and then we'll keep talking about the Senate. Let's talk about the doggy. Ooh. Oh, it's Bobo. Hi, Bo. Hi, Bobo. Say hello to the people. Your hair's a mess, sir. Your hair's a mess. Okay. You're looking better. Now you're looking cute. Say hello to the people. Hello, people. My name is Bobo. I bark a lot. Big yawn. Yeah, it is. It's nap time. All right. Bobo's going to take a nap on the couch right behind me.
Bark, bark.
Bark, bark. That's right. Not knowing the difference between media and the media is the left or straight. Yeah, you're right. I like that. So yeah, Tallarico, Christian. Yes. Do I like that? No. But he's still a better choice than Paxton, and he makes Stephen Miller angry, which also I like.
How did the robot sound like it rolled its eyes when it barked?
I turned the sarcasm knob up for the robot. She has a sarcasm knob, and I need it to be fully maxed out all the time. So here is this Stephen Miller? Yeah, it is. It's Steve. He's so mad. Stephen Miller is so mad. God, listen to this.
Well, first of all, I think it is very bold. One could even say brave, courageous, that the Democratic Party would choose Texas, of all places, to nominate their first transgender Senate candidate, who's clearly transitioning into a female.
What? That's not even... You know what this is? He's not allowed to use the F slur. Trans is now the new F slur. It really is. He's not allowed to call that guy the F word that he wants to, because he'll get in trouble. And then he'll get canceled, and then everybody will gripe at him, and that the people on the TV will be like, "You said a wordy nerd." Even Fox News, you're not allowed to throw that slur around. But he wants to. God, he wants to. You know he does.
You know, when Tallarico goes in for a blood test, when he gets a physical, blood doesn't come out. Instead, soy milk comes out. This man has less testosterone than Jasmine Crockett. It is a mind-boggling choice. They would choose a person to run for that office who looks like he doesn't belong in the Senate but in a cabaret show. Look, at the end of the day, I have a hard time believing that the people of Texas, some of the toughest, roughest, strongest men and women,
is this not id poll? Is this not identity politics? Conservatives yell it all the time. Oh, that's conservative. That's identity politics. They're just playing id poll. They're just what's the word? Generalizing about people. They're just saying all people should vote a certain way. All people are the same. He's telling you that everyone in Texas is just the same, and they're all big, strong, hulking he-men who walk around with the and get out of their F-350 and go and punch the vote button with their gigantic fingers, and that have been worked the bone on the oil field. He's so full of shit. Christ almighty, he just generalized every single person that lives there.
Pioneer heritage, the frontier history from the Mexican-American War through the Alamo and everything else, are going to choose somebody with that much soy to be a U.S. senator compared to a real conservative, patriotic, God-fearing, and truly beloved statewide figure in Ken Paxton.
They should have nominated
Ken Paxton, a nice, strong man. Let's find a picture of Ken Paxton. There he is. Yeah, there he is. Nice alpha male right there. Look at him. Look how gorgeous that alpha male is. Look at him. He's so
Ugly fuck
manly.
out here reliving his high school cafeteria peak.
Absolutely right. Somebody hurt him when he was
I'm
a teenager.
a Texan. Fuck Ken Paxton.
Ken Paxton is a literal criminal. He is, but apparently this is his peak alpha male right here. Look at him. Look how gorgeous that beast is. Ladies, please control your orgasms, okay? He's taken by his ex-wife and the many mistresses that he has, and the women that he cheats on them with. But so maybe don't control yourselves, ladies. Just throw yourself at him. He's down. He's down bad for cheating. He's all about that shit. Family values, Republicans love to cheat on their wives. It's a well-known fact. So you've done the same for MAGA and Republicans at least 3 times in the past 10 minutes? What? Insulted them? Yeah, I insult MAGA all the time. What did I do to them in the past few minutes? Insult
When
them?
Waldo is in the presidential cabinet, you can complain about it too.
Yeah. I'm insulting their intelligence because they've proven to be bad at thinking and doing things. They insult normal-looking human beings while jumping behind this big, sexy piece of alpha male right here. Yes, I generalize all the time. I'm not on the TV. I'm not telling you who to vote. I am telling you who to vote for. I just don't have any. I'm more logical than these guys. How about that? He's accusing you of generalizing people. Yeah, and I got that. So, and I am generalizing people based on the things that I've seen. But I don't think that id poll is some sort of sin. You know, I am generalizing these people. Yes, I'm not going to tell you then that id poll is a sin. That guy does. Conservatives hate id poll. They scream about it. They, instead of calling it identity politics, they call it id poll. Google that sometime. See you fucking conservative right-wing grifters screaming bloody murder about id poll. Yeah, and you choose to be a Republican. You don't choose how you look. And I'm on your TV right now. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me in. I appreciate
Stephen
that.
Miller has the ear of the most powerful person in the U.S. Waldo is a Twitch streamer. XD boy got his standards on backwards.
And may I point out, here's Tallarico. 1, standing next to his girlfriend, so probably not gay. But what I need you to know, look at those shorts. No gay man would wear those shorts. Nope. No. No gay man would wear those shorts with sneakers and white socks, okay? You can disregard the pretty lady on his arm. That doesn't prove anything. I think the shorts do prove it, though. No gay man would wear those shorts. If you're playing a video game, and I know most of you are, and I'm on your second monitor, Alt Tab, look over here. Look at those shorts. He's straight as hell.
Actually, the straightest square outfit I've ever seen. XD.
I know. That is not a gay man. Lumping all gays in one group. Yes, I am. For fun and hilarity. For the comedic reasons. And I'm going to tell you that that was a joke. I'm not going to make it a part of my entire identity for the rest of eternity. So yeah, that was part of what I wanted to talk about today. Let's, if you're watching, hop in the chat, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Go on over to the Discord if you'd like, and you can leave links for me to look at. There is only one rule over in the Discord: don't annoy me. If you want to leave things to talk about or even argue with me, by all means, do so in the Discord. But yeah, don't annoy me. That's the only rule. I've only banned like one actual person who was just annoying me. He didn't argue with anything. He just put a picture of Trump's face and then a YouTube video of a lady singing about Jesus. If you asked him about the deficit, Trump's face, lady singing about Jesus. If you asked him about the who won in 2020, Trump's face, lady singing about Jesus. And that was annoying. So I booted him. You are generalizing gays and saying they don't like women. I know. That's why. Well, I said that the lady doesn't prove that he's not gay. I mean, gay guys. Lots of gay guys have Latina girlfriends, but they wouldn't wear those shorts. I'm just saying, man. You have to look at. This is what evidence is. I'm looking at evidence. The guy who hates gay people is worried that you're being general about gay people. I know, right? Just looking for anything to complain about. I get it. I understand. You gotta argue somewhere. If you don't have if you don't have a good point, you gotta. If you have the facts, you pound on the facts. If you don't have the facts, you pound on the table. Kind of an idea. And so, did he borrow those shorts from me? Yeah, he did. He bought them vintage from a secondhand store after I sold them to the secondhand store. Yes. I'm a very straight guy who would wear those shorts. So let's see. Oh, hey, look, there's some violence going on. Let's watch some
hand grenade that was just fired there.
Violence.
And now they're firing. They're firing flashbangs. They're pushing. We're trying. Hold on. Yeah. We're trying to avoid the barrier there. They just fired, I think, a flashbang grenade. And they literally are pushing protesters right into the so-called free speech zone that has now been
Get back in your free speech zone.
This is coordinated federal state fascism. This is not opposition to Donald Trump. This is not opposition to ICE. This is not protecting protesters. Oh. So. They just released something. They just released something.
Don't walk away from me, please.
I got it. They just released something that hit my eye.
Hit your eye?
Yeah. All right.
You okay?
Yeah, I got pepper
All
spray.
right, there's tear gas. Tear gas right here.
Yeah.
The tear gas up here.
Yeah. So I got. That's a flag.
So, what is this? This is outside Delaney Hall. This is the New Jersey state troopers with riot gear forcing protesters and supporting hunger strikes of Delaney Hall and media people down the street. They're firing flashbang grenades at the ground to force people to disperse. So, the concentration camps didn't go away. They're still here. So there are still people protesting in front of them, which I always knew was going to happen. I said this years ago. I said Donald Trump, if he gets elected, would build concentration camps for the 20 million, 40 million, 60 million illegals that he wants to round up and send out of the country. He exaggerates their numbers, but to do that, you will need a place to put them. And to put them somewhere will be a concentration camp, by the literal definition of concentration camp. And if you do, everyone will know where they are. and everyone will show up, and they will protest and stand in front of you and tell you not to do the concentration camps because it's bad. And he doesn't know any of that. He didn't think about any of these things because he can't think past tomorrow's headline. He cannot think beyond tomorrow's New York Times headline. That's as far as he can go. Democrats and sometimes think about the future, and leftists never stop thinking about the future. They ignore the past and think only about the future. So there are people out there protesting. It's getting ugly. It's getting annoying. It's getting difficult. Some people are out there trying to push them to stop doing concentration camps, and that's great. Not as many angry people in New York State. Not as angry as people in New York State. The Democrat has managed to change the bridge's name, and they get away with it because they are corrupt and ignoring people that voted for them anyway. Okay, great. Then sue him. Have a court stop him. The court stopped Donnie when he broke the rules. Have a court stop the Democrat. You imagine your free speech zone is the law when you get to have to have a permit for anything. Yeah, absolutely. Free speech absolutists only within the zone. You have to be ignorant or Democratic voter not to understand the politician always puts their name on his historical bridges and buildings and everything else, especially Democrats. No. Follow the process. Eli, you're very unhappy about this one fucking bridge. I get it. I understand. Did they follow the process? If you're telling me they're corrupt, great. Fuck them. Fuck the Democrat who breaks the law. Can we agree on that? Fuck Trump when he breaks the law. He does it every day. Where in the Constitution does it say that Congress is in charge of the name of the building of the Kennedy Center? Boss, it does say that. Not in the Constitution, but within the laws that are passed. It's literally within the fucking law. It's there. I'm not a lawyer. Go look it up. Go ask a lawyer. Go hire one to talk to Donald Trump and tell him what is illegal. That would be lovely. I would love.
It literally is a part of the Constitution.
I know. It's part of the law, man. But you don't know it because you're not a lawyer, and that's okay. Ray, baby, honey, it's okay for you not to know every single goddamn little bit of the law. We hire lawyers for that. We have specialists, experts in the law. But if you are the president and you do not listen to those experts and you chase them all out of the room when they tell you that you're wrong, you will end up exactly where Donald Trump is, naming shit after himself and then having a judge slap it down, implementing tariffs and then having a judge slap it down, paying for creating a sovereign wealth fund and having a judge slap it down, creating a $1 billion slush fund for your fucking political friends who did a Jan 6th just to have a judge slap it down. This is common sense, but conservatives don't like common sense. No, they love their common sense, their version. Common sense is a feeling. So if you feel like something is common sense, then it is. You don't give a shit about the Kennedys? Yeah, I know. I don't either. I don't really give a shit. I just don't like Trump doing things illegal. That's what upsets me about it. And if this New York Democrat did an illegal thing to rename the bridge, then fuck him too. Get a judge to shut it down. There are more laws than just the Constitution, Ray. There's a Constitution, and then there's a bunch of laws built on top of it. The Constitution also doesn't mention Bitcoin, but we need to have some rules and laws about Bitcoin. Yeah. So what are we looking at with the haul here? Marissa Cabas there has a few more videos. Let's look at some more videos. Here's another one. Yeah, here we go.
Cam's getting into it. Uh-oh. Oh, Cam's using spray on people. Cam's spraying people.
So this is Cam Higbee. Apparently he's some sort of right-wing poster or some shit. He's a grifter troll on the right wing. Probably has 10 billion YouTube subscribers because he lies to them and tells them what they want to hear, which is the way to get people to pay attention to you on YouTube. Telling them the truth does not work. I've tried. Anyway, they're chasing him away.
His guy's got his gun. His armed guard is.
And this bald guy is the armed guard for Mr. Cam Higbee because he needed an armed guard because he went there and he went to find the anti-ICE protesters and agitate and irritate them so that they would attack him so that he could be more famous and more important, and then go on to his YouTube video and say how the terrible, awful Antifa attacked him.
And is on his gun. Cam is in fights.
So he's attacking some other people. They're attacking him. They're all fighting.
Sorry. We'll light all of you up, he says. Cam's body.
Hitting him with stuff.
Cam is on his gun.
They stole his phone, maybe, or took it from him, and we got more shit being thrown.
Sorry, buddy.
Throw it at me, bro. Baldy, yo, ball guy, look at my wife. They do, I don't know. Tell him to leave, just leave. Guys, enough.
He's still throwing shit.
They got their hands on their gun.
Fucking coward! Hands are balls!
He's gonna pull his gun out. He's gonna pull his gun. They're gonna send. Oh, they're pulling him inside. Nick Sorter's pulling him inside. So you got right wing Nick Sorter. The feds will come out and help them. So.
Don't worry, ICE is here to save him.
Nick Sorter.
Yay!
They're running him into the building. Wow.
ICE is there to defend him, keep him safe.
Arrest them for assault with a deadly water.
They're trying to Cam and Nick Sorter. So they're pulling them in.
And then ICE brings him into the concentration camp. Now, Ray, you might not understand this, but that's a concentration camp. We should be protesting it. We should, maybe, use all the peaceful means we can to prevent people from going into a concentration camp. And that's okay. And then, if the government does not use peaceful means, if the government limits all of our peaceful means of protest, violent means will become inevitable. And if you don't know that, it's because you haven't studied history either. That is a concentration camp, and it should be shut the fuck down. Authoritarian fascists within our government, within my government, are building concentration camps, and I don't like it. So I'm telling you, that's a concentration camp. You don't have to appreciate it, and then you're probably going to disagree with me, and that's okay. As long as I can tell some people, I, at the moment, still have the freedom to tell you that it is a concentration camp. They might take that away from me too, though. Very soon, they might take that away from me. Living all your life, and then the Democratic Party comes and changes the historical building on a bridge because they want to. Bro, Eli, I love how dedicated you are. I love this. You're so dedicated to this fucking bridge thing, man. You're more dedicated to the bridge than I am the fucking Kennedy Center. It doesn't get any simpler than this. If the Democrat changed the name of the fucking bridge unlawfully, incorrectly, without filling out the right forms, and without going through the right committees and process, then fuck that guy. I'm agreeing with you. But if he did all of the right stuff, then get the fuck over it. He's a bridge homosexual. Yeah, it's entirely possible.
I prefer trying to stop the concentration camps before Ray gets to ignore the smoke.
I know, right? The left was calling these concentration camps a long time ago. Alligator Alcatraz was another concentration camp, and that one's been shut down because it was built as cheaply as fucking possible in fucking Florida, which is just begging for to be knocked down by the first strong wind. Then if Ray, I want you to think about a thing. The Boston Tea Party. what happened. Not the LARPers in who were mad that a black person got elected president. The Boston Tea Party, before the American Revolution. What did they do? They broke into a place. They destroyed things that were private property. They hurt people. And then they threw all of the private property that belonged to a company, the Eastern, what was it, the shipping company, the East India Trading Company or some shit. They took all their property and destroyed it by throwing it into the water, thereby making it worthless. Because they didn't want to pay a tax. It was a tax revolt. That built our country. That was the American country was built on rebellion. Fighting against an unjust government is apparently bravery in the 1700s, but it's wokeism in 2026. I don't think so. The people who are standing out there in front of the concentration camp are heroes. We became criminals to stop the government from taking more taxes. Yes, exactly. The tea tax. Yeah, great. We became criminals. The people there did crime. You know, kind of like what you're seeing right here. While the
Ray would be a redcoat for sure.
Well, no, he's okay so far. He recognizes how it's awesome when we became criminals to stop the government from taking more taxes, but he's not yet been explained to him that we should become criminals to stop concentration camps. I think he might get there, though. I think if you explain it the right way, maybe he'll get there. Maybe. I don't know, though. Maybe not. But what I'm saying is that this is an illegal concentration camp and should be shut down. And the person who's there defending it should be removed from their job. And this piece of shit grifter, whoever the fuck Cam Higbee is, he can fuck off. He's a toady. He's a redcoat. The redcoat in this situation is Cam Higbee, the guy protecting and defending and talking about how protecting and defending the illegitimate government action. That's who should be scorned, and that's why the people are throwing things at him, is because he's a fucking redcoat, anti-American even. So is there more of this? Yeah, let's keep reading. Let's stay on this subject for now. What have we got? We've got, is this another video? So this is another video from outside of there. So let's look at that.
ICE is pushing back while there are trucks right behind the protesters.
That protester got his leg run over by the truck, but they are standing in the road. Those ICE agents are the redcoats in this scenario. If we continue with the scenario, they're the people protecting the illegitimate, incorrect, unlawful government.
Whoa! I'm with you. A protester's leg got run over. Folks, with my own eyes, I just saw ICE push a protester into a moving 18-wheeler, causing that protester's leg to get run over by the truck.
I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. They're out there brawling in the street, and he did get run over by the truck. But you're in the street trying to stop that truck from going through anyway. So if you sleep with dogs, you might end up with fleas. Just understand, if you stand in the street to protest, which is good and right and honorable and heroic, you might get hit by a car. Not saying that you should, but you got to know it's a possibility. So yeah, let's read about that thing that's happening there. I think this person, Marissa Kabas, also wrote about it. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Starved, smashed, and bloodied. The violence at ICE's Delaney Hall. Brutality towards detainees and protesters continues to unfold in Newark, New Jersey. The handbasket was on site to report. Apparently this is called the handbasket. Great. This is a wonderful thing that you can read, and I will leave in a link to, because we can look at all the fun stuff. It's not much fun to just read everything that she wrote, but you should go and read it if it's interesting. I will post it in the Discord. Copy. I'm putting it in the Discord under public stream links. Bam, paste, go. If you want to read it, you can go there, take a look. And is this the one about the truck? Yeah. So he got his, there's a leg being slightly bent. Some more fun photos. Outside Delaney Hall, ICE agent hit my camera with his baton full force. The lens snapped in half. Fell to the ground. I was trying to pick up the lens. He threatened to hit me again with the baton. I was clearly identified as press, carrying a camera in my hand and actively taking photos. He deliberately targeted my camera, not my body, not my legs, my camera. So, super fun. They're taking away your freedom to protest, and this is what you're supposed to protest against. How do you suggest that we get rid of the criminal illegal aliens? Give them a path to citizenship. The end. They're not criminals. Most of them, 90%, are not criminals. They have done no crimes except the horseshit, lying, bullshit crime of being illegal or out of status, which is intentionally impossible to overcome. Republicans write the laws when they're in charge in such a way as to trip them up, to throw as many hurdles in front of actual decent human beings as possible, so that when they trip, when they fall, when they fail to accomplish, which is the law. Right. And it's a bullshit law. You know what else was the law, Ray? Paying taxes for that tea. Paying taxes for the tea was the fucking law. And we became criminals to stop it because it was fucking wrong. The immigration system, when Republicans are in charge, is wrong. It is the law, and it is wrong, and we should protest it. That's what those people are doing. It becomes impossible to accomplish. It becomes impossible to do things the lawful way when Republicans are in charge, because they do not want it to happen. They are unethical. They are immoral actors. They are passing immoral laws. And because they're doing that, it becomes damn difficult for any of these immigrants to follow the law, to go through the proper steps, to get through the right channels. ICE was arresting people at their green card interviews. Those people were following the rules. They were following the laws. They had done no crimes, and they were arrested and thrown into a concentration camp. That is not acceptable. That is an unjust system. And ICE is a part of that unjust system. That concentration camp there in Delaney Hall is part of an unjust system that needs to be protested, just like the tea tax was unjust.
This dude straight up just wants to shoot brown people.
I'm not going to say that about him. You can if you like. But the people of ICE, the people who work there, the people who are defending it, just don't like immigrants. They hate immigrants. They don't want them here because they are under the...
He just said it.
Oh,
XD.
did he? I don't know. We became to stop the government from taking more taxes. Yeah, great. Well, he didn't say... Oh, he didn't say that, did he? I didn't hear him say it. Well, I didn't see him say it. Well, maybe I missed a spot. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is it is an unjust system, it is an unjust law, and we need to give them a pathway towards citizenship. I'm not saying that they all just get to immediately become citizens the minute they walk across the border.
Take the matter to stop them into our own hands.
Oh, maybe I missed that. Oh, it mattered to stop them. The illegals are breaking the law, and we need to take the matter and stop them. No, absolutely not. You are being blood and soil at that point. You're not helping freedom. You're suppressing human freedom, and I don't appreciate that. Stop oppressing other people's human freedoms. we need to give them a pathway to citizenship. I was mocking the host, which said that this was the tea rioters were doing. Yeah, great, fine. He's right. Yeah, okay. I'm on board with you, boss. Listen, human freedom is valuable and important. That is the axiom, the bedrock value that I hold. Human freedom. And if Republicans are limiting that human freedom by nonsensical bureaucracy, wouldn't that upset you? Wouldn't it upset you if Republicans were making more impossible bureaucracy to limit human freedom because of the skin color or the place they were born? That sounds fucking awful. And I don't appreciate it when Republicans do that. So I tell you that their plans are unjust and unacceptable. So then, because they do that, we need to have a pathway to citizenship, a simple, understandable pathway to follow. Give them a special ID. Find out who they are. This is Waldo's crazy plan. Find out who they are. Document them. Give them a special ID and charge them a fine if they broke any of the immigration laws. I'm okay with that. Maybe it takes them 10 damn years to pay off that fine. That's okay, because now they're paying the government taxes that they should have been doing, or paying them for breaking that paperwork bureaucracy fine. Bureaucratic misappropriating bureaucratic stuff should only have bureaucratic solutions. Your paperwork is wrong. We use paperwork to remediate the problem. If you violently attack someone, then we can violently stop you. Okay? If your paperwork is wrong, we shouldn't be violently attacking people with ICE. That's just the basic idea. I know it gets complicated. When you're Lord High Mucky Muck law, the break must be followed the liberal way, not mine. When you're not Lord High Mucky Muck of what law we get to break and what laws must be followed. Right, which is why we should vote for people who push a pathway to citizenship. And that's not Republicans. It's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump tells you he wants to round them up and he wants to pay ICE, and he made this happen. None of this was happening before him. There were no concentration camps before Donald Trump. There was maybe one under George W. Bush. Who built the one that AOC went to? AOC went to one, and it was a big deal, and she was standing outside the fence, and she cried, and everybody made it out of the thing. You voted for Trump to stop illegal. Yeah, and that is a dipshit thing to do, Ray. You voted for fascism. You voted for blood and soil politics. Donald Trump runs blood and soil politics. That is fascism. You voted for fascism. I know you did. I know a lot of people in the country did do that, and I'm upset about it. I don't want anybody else to do it again.
Weren't an issue. You're just a moron.
The blood and soil politics of Donald Trump is appreciated by lots of people. I think those people are wrong. And I'm going to tell you that they're wrong. And I'm going to make an entire YouTube stream about telling you they're wrong and that there is a better way. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. And you do not like it anyway. Yeah, I know. I know. That's fine. Blood and soil is a bad ideology. It leads to concentration camps. Those people were not born on the right soil. Their bloodline is wrong, and so they need to leave our borders. That is fascism. It's not good. It's not freedom. It's anti-freedom. You voted for anti-freedom. And someday it might bite you in the ass. Right now, it's only biting the poor and the brown people in the ass. But maybe it'll affect you someday. I don't know. I hope it doesn't affect anybody. I don't want it to affect you. I don't want to put conservatives into a camp.
Actually spitting.
I don't want to put right-wing people into a re-education camp. I want to point to the failures of Republican ideology. I want to point to the failures so that nobody votes for this again. So that's all of that. Let's see. Let's look at this. What is this? Anti-ICE protesters found guilty in case that gets free speech rights. Hooray! So 3 protesters were convicted of federal conspiracy charges. So they were protesting, and they got found guilty of crimes. 3 Washington state protesters have been found guilty of federal conspiracy charges. You know, taking away their freedom. For sitting in front of a bus, taking people to an immigration detention center in Tacoma. Jack Archer, Justice Forel, and Bahon sorry, Bahon, I can't pronounce your name. Mavalawa II were 3 of a group of 9 people who were arrested last June after responding to former City Council President Ben Stuckart's request for protesters to block a bus from taking immigrants from one of the ICE detention center to another. Block the buses. I knew this was going to happen. I said this years ago. I know not everybody's watched for that long, but years ago on this damn stream, I said, if Trump wins, he will build concentration camps. We will know where they are, and people will stand in front of the buses, and they will get hit, and violence will happen. Anybody with a brain knew this was coming. Anybody with a brain wouldn't have done it because it leads to bad outcomes. 6 of the 9 arrested accepted plea deals, while Archer, Forel, and Mavalawala took their case to trial, where a jury found them guilty of conspiracy to impede or injure officers. This is the first conspiracy prosecution in Eastern Washington history since the Civil War era law dusted off to punish members of the Spokane community. A Civil War era law. 2 young men who were unlawfully detained by ICE. Yeah, they were standing up for 2 young men who were unlawfully detained by ICE, according to them. I hope that moving forward, the DOJ will focus on the crimes that matter most to keep our families safe and build trust with the communities that most need and deserve law enforcement protection. Most of the things that the conservatives say about the criminal illegals are lies, imaginary, and over-exaggerated. And because those lies are spread wildly, people then think that they are true. And that is our problem. Misinformation, bad information, lies. It's amazing how many people, how many right-wingers are actually against the Patriot Act when they were afraid of the government would go far right. Militias suddenly, the conservatives were against the Patriot Act because it was put forth under a liberal president. No, it wasn't. It was put forth under George W. Bush, and they said that that was bad. The militia movement has shifted quite to the far to the right. Anybody who wasn't on far right has left it and abandoned it and gotten old and tired and didn't want to LARP anymore. They're taking your rights away. They're taking away the right to protest. They're taking away the right to free speech. And they are even, let's look at this, coming after you for something else. Let's find it. Where did I put you? There we go. DOJ subpoenas Reddit in an effort to unmask Trump's critics. If you said something mean about Donald Trump on Reddit, Janine Pirro, the sack of shit on the screen right now, the absolute insane fascist, wants to hurt you with the government. If you use your free speech to say bad things about Donald Trump on Reddit, she wants the government to hurt you, to punish you, to take away your rights. Lock you in a cage probably forever because she doesn't know what freedom means. She doesn't know what it is. She doesn't know where it comes from. She just knows that if you disagree with her, you're evil. She is fucking pathetic and it's disgusting. Anti-American, anti-freedom, anti-free speech, fucking free speech warriors over here. The Justice Department is intensifying efforts to identify anonymous social media users who have criticized government deportation policies, including grand jury subpoenas to Reddit and X, demanding names, addresses, and banking information, demanding to know who these people are who say mean things about the government. The U.S. Attorney's Office for Washington, under Janine Pirro, has subpoenaed the platforms as part of a criminal investigation targeting at least 2 anonymous posters who have criticized immigration and customs enforcement operations, according to Bloomberg. Shinzendo voted so many anti-Trump memes. You're on the list, boss. Sorry. You're on the list. They're coming for you. They're going to kick in your door any minute. The Gestapo's on their way. They started with an administrative summons, which does not indicate a criminal investigation, and then progressed to a grand jury subpoena, which does. And the grand juries are a whole ass fucking thing themselves. They're very easy to get a subpoena out of a grand jury. You just have to wrangle a handful of people and sell them on a story, and then they'll issue a subpoena. That is further proof that there's a bad faith attempt to unmask the user. So yeah, they're not being free speech here. The targeted users learned of the subpoenas only after being notified of the companies themselves and subsequently hired attorneys to challenge the government's demands. Neither the Justice Department nor the users have been informed on what specific crimes are allegedly being investigated. Exactly. You don't even have to do a crime to become investigated. And that is the conservative way. You don't have to commit a crime for the Republican DOJ to investigate you. No. They just have to not like what you had to say. And then they'll just investigate you. And maybe they'll find something, maybe they don't. And if they don't, they still get to piss and moan about it on Fox News. They investigated Jim Comey. And they found fuck all, nothing. But they'll point to that investigation as proof that you are a bad person, that you are a criminal. They will point to the investigation as evidence. Then when there's evidence that Donald Trump has committed crimes, they will ignore that. You see, ignore the evidence that Donald Trump has committed crimes and point to the investigations of Joe Biden as proof. And this is their modus operandi. This is how they operate. This is what they do on a regular basis. That's why they investigate so much. Court records show that the administration initially pursued administrative. Well, I read that. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Anyway, Reddit has stated it vigorously defends user anonymity and routinely objects to overboard requests threatening civil rights. But the outcome will likely have significant implications for online speech protections and the current political climate. Remember a year ago when conservatives were all going on fucking big podcasts like Joe Rogan and screaming about free speech absolutism? They were free speech absolutists. They absolutely were not going to give up their free speech. And that's why Elon had to buy Twitter. Twitter was kicking people off of their money-making business platform for inciting a riot. And that's just free speech, y'all. According to the conservatives, according to the right wing, according to them, telling people lies about who won the 2020 presidential election is free speech. And if you organized, let's say, a riot against the government, then that is also free speech. And you can't let Twitter block you for that. And I would agree that the company should be able to block you for that. The company can do whatever they want. We don't have free speech. You cannot yell fire in a crowded theater, and you cannot yell ice in a crowded Home Depot. I would agree that those are harmful. Those aren't protected speech. The government should protect free speech that isn't blatantly, intentionally, willingly harmful. If you're intentionally trying to harm someone with your screaming fire in a crowded theater, then the government doesn't protect that.
Genuinely the lowest IQ argument XD.
If you're trying to harm people in the Home Depot by screaming, "Here comes ice," then you are being harmful. I mean, isn't that a decent place to put it? Are they being harmful by pointing out what the government is doing? Am I being harmful by suggesting that the government is overreaching and hurting these people's free speech? You'd have to prove it in a court, I suppose. Harmful speech shouldn't get all the same protections as all the rest of the speech. I think that's decent. I think that's acceptable. I think there's a good medium there. And the people on the right, Ray, were telling us, before Donald Trump got elected, they were telling us, and when Elon bought Twitter, they were telling us that it was the liberals and the Dems who were going to crack down on online speech. I remember before Biden got elected, it was Republicans and the right wing sphere and the manosphere who was telling me that Joe fucking Biden, Sleepy Biden, was going to root out all of the Trump supporters online and find them and publish their names and fuck up their banking and shit like that. That's what they told me. That's what they told everybody. And they were wrong. They lied. They wanted to do it themselves. Every accusation.
Something cancel culture.
Right, exactly. The cancel culture is going to come and get you, folks. Folks, cancel culture is coming to get us. If Sleepy Joe Biden wins the election, then if he cheats enough to win, then he will completely destroy all of the internet. Everyone who's ever said anything mean about him, everyone who's ever called him a Sleepy Joe on the internet, on Reddit or on x.com.twitter, is going to be found by the jackbooted thugs and dragged into a concentration camp and re-educated. Folks, I'm not making this up. I've seen the plans. I know what they're going for, and it was never true. It was never true. It is the right wing who tries to control free speech, not the left. It is the right wing who puts people in concentration camps, not the left. It is the right wing that tells you what you can and can't do with your life, not the left. Cancel culture was it boils down to just be polite online. That's it. Fuck off. There's nothing else. Woke is just decency. Woke is decency. Anti-woke is degeneracy. I was canceled at least half the time online during the fascist reign of the Biden crime family just for doing the same thing I'm doing here today. I don't believe you. It's cute and funny, and I do appreciate the joke, but I don't believe you're serious. Good bit. I like it. Well done, sir. Let's see. So yeah, it is.
Lol, I got blocked on Twitter too, homie.
Everybody does sometimes. Let's see. You know what? One of my streams got taken down. One of my streams got taken down because I had the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel on the screen, and there's a wiener in that picture.
You guys have Twitter?
I don't, but I got a stream taken down because of the Sistine Chapel that was on the screen, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. There's a wiener. David's little twig and berries are hanging out there. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, Google it, and you've seen the photo, you've seen the painting, but it had a wiener, and so that got me taken down. That one. So let's see. What the hell else did I have to talk about? What the hell was I going to talk about? So we got that. Since we're still kind of on the subject, lead federal prosecutor in James Coney seashell photo case steps aside. Ray, tell me if this is a crime, please. Just is taking this photo a crime? Am I allowed to say 8647? Is that illegal? Is this a crime? If I saw this, even if I put them in this shape and then took the photo, am I doing a crime? I don't think so. Most people don't think so either. But as usual, it's the right who controls and tries to suppress free speech. It's the right who says you cannot do this. It's the lunatics on the right wing in the Republican space that say you can't do this, but they will do it themselves. I don't know if you follow this horse shit, but Twitter and Blue Sky is just filled with 8646 from hard right wing MAGA chuds, and then they scream that 8647 is a crime. You know? Is it harmful like yelling fire? No, I don't think so. Lead federal prosecutor in James Comey seashell photo case steps aside. So even Matthew Petracca, a former Republican county committeeman and a rookie federal prosecutor who brought the case to the federal grand jury, is stepping aside because he doesn't think it's going to work. He doesn't want to be embarrassed. The rookie federal prosecutor who brought the case accusing former FBI Director James Comey of threatening President Donald Trump's life by posting a photo of seashells on Instagram, has stepped off the case. Is it spreading hate and division? Well, you're allowed to spread hate and division. You're allowed to, as long as you're not harmful. Matthew Petracca, who had been recently hired as an assistant U.S. attorney. The hell was that? That was a dog. Josh. Okay. Anywho, why was he recently hired? Because anybody with a brain has left the DOJ. And he was the assistant U.S. attorney in the Eastern District, is no longer on the Comey case because he's embarrassed. It's redonkulous. Petracca also dropped off the other criminal cases in the Eastern District, North Carolina, in recent days. According to the court filings, Petracca is a former Republican county committeeman in New Jersey, whom a U.S. attorney from the Eastern District, North Carolina, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line here is that Trump is one of the Justice Department to go after his political enemies, including Acting General Todd Blanche has argued that those now targeted by the Justice Department themselves use the law to go after the president. Some legal experts, including several conservatives who typically defend the Trump administration's actions, criticize this case and expected it to be dismissed long before it gets to trial. This will be dismissed before it gets to trial because it's not a crime. This is not a crime. You can say hateful things. You can say divisive things. You can say true things. You can say lies. But if you're harming people or telling people to do harm, then it isn't as protected by the First Amendment. And this isn't telling anybody to harm anybody. This is a photo of a thing that he says he found on the beach. And even if he had put them there himself, I still don't think that's a crime. I've put it in my own thumbnails. And I say it all the time, 8647. Yeah, see, I did it. Did I do a crime there? No. And if you are anti-free speech, you would consider it a crime. 8-6 Comey. Great. 8-6 Comey. Comey got 8-6'd. He got tossed out. He got fired by tweet by Donald Trump after he helped Trump win. Fuck Comey. He's a piece of shit. But this is not a crime. Comey's a piece of shit who I don't appreciate. But this is not a crime. See how I can dislike a person and still be biased and unbiased towards the law and the rules? Conservatives don't think that can happen. Donald Trump doesn't think that can happen. Donald Trump is the most political creature to ever exist. Every single thing that exists is on his side or against him. For him or against him. Those damn kids saying 6'7". Yeah. 6'7". That's a crime. See, now this is a crime. When Waldo does this, it says 6'7" to try and get the Zoomers to watch. Please, children, watch my show. For the love of God, I need the numbers, please. Anyway, what are we talking about? What else do we have? Oh, Bark Boys. At least they're outside. Let's look at this one. Judge orders Trump to answer questions about whether settlement that created anti-weaponization fund was fraud. So the Jan 6 weaponization fund of $1,776,000,000 has been stopped by a court, which is good. It was a scam and a crime. Anyway, a federal judge signaled Friday that she may reopen a legal case between President Trump and his own government that led to the Justice Department to create the controversial $1776 billion anti-weaponization fund. Ordered the president's lawyers to respond to allegations of deception and fraud. So this judge is suggesting that when the president sues his own government, then settles with himself to steal money from the Treasury and give it to his friends, that might be fraud. Just maybe. Just maybe that's fraud. Just maybe he's not allowed to do that. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Never going to get the kids. The young men are MAGA and the young women are never going to watch the old far like you. I know. It doesn't make me happy. But if you live in a blue state, the young men are not MAGA. It's only the red states young men that are MAGA, and there are not that many of them. The red states are very underpopulated, and anybody who doesn't fit in with them leaves to go to a better place, better state anyway. And the parents aren't going to want to live in the red states anymore. The way Florida is chopping off the heads, Florida is removing all the brains from their universities. Anybody in university in Florida is not going to get a proper education. Anybody in a high school in Florida is not going to get a proper education, and they're not going to be allowed. The other colleges in other parts of the country aren't going to allow anybody from Florida to go there unless they go through a special remediation class or some shit, because they're not teaching anything intelligent. They're teaching horse shit. They're teaching fake news to children in Florida and at the universities in Florida. And so people who coming out of there are going to be unemployable, and they won't be able to get jobs, and they won't be able to get degrees. And so people won't go there. People will leave there for better places. They're just too afraid to admit it to their peers that there's a bunch of secret MAGA out there. I don't believe you. There's not a bunch of secret MAGA. There's a bunch of secret liberals in every red city. Every single little podunk town in Texas has a handful of people who do not like Donald Trump, but they're not allowed to say it. They're atheists and they're not allowed to say it, because then they'll get bullied and they'll get queer bashed. There's lots of gay people in tiny little red towns that have to keep that shit under the table. Keep that shit down. Do not let them know. And if they have the capability to leave, they do. And when they leave, they don't come back. Sorry. I lived in a small town. I understand exactly how small town dynamics work. Anyway, what the hell? I'm getting off topic. This judge is suggesting that Trump suing his own government and giving himself settlement money is possibly fraud. So, and this is, again, I was talked about this on the last stream. Fraud. They never stop talking about fraud when it's poor brown people doing it. When a person with a net worth of $200 steals $1,000 from Medicare, that's fraud, yes. And that is a hell-worthy trespass, and that needs billions of dollars of government funding to stomp them into the dirt. But when Donald Trump steals billions from the Treasury, nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Keep moving, folks. When he pardons people who have done fraud, as he has done many times, conservatives don't care. They don't mind. Rick Scott committed gigantic insurance fraud. Are they going to go after him? He just paid a fine, which was a portion of the money he made, and then he kept the rest. If you are a rich, white, Republican man, you are allowed to defraud the system. You are allowed to steal all you want from Medicaid. You are allowed to steal from the Treasury any damn time you want. If you are a poor black person in a blue state, you are not allowed to do that. And they will find you, and they will hurt you, and they will make up some lies about you. And I don't think that that's the right way to work the government. The government should not be choosing who to punish based on their politics and who they voted for. But Donald Trump loves that shit. He really does. So what's the point of that one? The point of that one is that the big slush fund might be paused for now, and it might be considered fraud later, and it might get shut down. And that'll make Donnie mad. And then he'll get to be mad again. Because if you, again, just like every other damn thing I've talked about today, if you asked a lawyer, is this allowed? They would say no. And then they won't do it. When Barack Obama said, are we allowed to do the ACA? They said, probably not, but you'd have to do it this way. And this is how the rules that you'd have to follow. And then he followed those rules, and then it got done eventually. And it was half-assed and sucked. But that's bureaucracy. That's the way the government is supposed to work. Iran official says Trump is stalling talks with excessive demands as wait for breakthroughs continue. So this is not a surprise. This is exactly what I've been predicting for a while. Oil prices have dipped this week amid president's reports that Trump and Iran could be close to sealing an agreement that has eluded the two sides for over a month. Trump will drag this shit out until October. Mark my words right now. Press the subscribe button, follow me, come back in October. He will still be doing the Iran war in October. Because that is what he needs. He needs Iran to be the bad guy when the midterms roll around. The midterms happening in November. You have your October surprise. His October surprise, I've already predicted it, is to say that Iran is hacking our votes. And it will not be true. There will be no evidence to back it up. There will be nothing making it a reality. But he will say it, and he will say it loud, and he will say it often into a TV camera, and then people will believe it. Once he has said that Iran is hacking our midterm elections, he will send ICE to polling places. ICE will go to the polling places, and they will hassle anybody who's even a little bit darker than me. Anyone. Doesn't matter if you're a citizen, they will ask you for your immigration papers. And if you don't have your immigration papers, because you were born in America, they will hassle you. And they will ask for your green card. I don't have a green card. I'm an American citizen. I was born in Texas. I don't have a green card. And if someone asked me for one, I would say I don't have one. True statement. True statement. I don't have a green card. Would they arrest me? Maybe. You don't have your green card, you're going to jail. And then if I don't get to vote, and ICE is going to stop people from voting. They will stop people from voting, and then the other people in line might get pissed off about that. The second person to be asked for their green card will be very unhappy, and the third is going to be fucking pissed off. And they are going to do protest. They're going to fight. They're going to argue. They're going to yell at. They're going to wrestle, and they are going to resist arrest from the ICE agents in line for the polls. ICE agents will then start spraying pepper spray and dropping tear gas in line for the polls. Making more people angry, making more people pissed off. No, I'm not being silly now. No, sir. This is going to happen. You're going to see it. November. You are going to see ICE agents pepper spraying and tear gassing people at polling stations. That is going to happen. It might not happen at 1,000 places. It might not even happen at 10 places, but it will happen at least once. Predicting things is very hard. I recognize. I agree. You look silly and you look stupid if you predict and you predict wrong, but I don't mind looking stupid. I don't mind being excitable and telling you what the fascists are going to do tomorrow. When I called Donald Trump a fascist 10 years ago, people told me I was crazy. But I'm right. He is a fascist. Now, what happens after that? The riots, people start fighting, people start screaming. Donnie comes onto the TV again to tell you that Antifa is attacking our polling places. They're attacking. Antifa sent all their super soldiers into the polls. The illegals are in there voting. They're illegals. The ICE found them. ICE knows who an illegal is and who isn't, even though they arrest not citizens all the damn time. He's going to ignore that part. The ICE went there. ICE found illegals and they arrested them. So I have had ICE bring those ballots to me in D.C. so I can count them. And ICE will count the votes. Donnie will tell you who won, and he will adjust the votes with his big stupid Sharpie marker the same way he did with that hurricane path. Remember when he used his Sharpie marker to move the hurricane path? He'll do that with the midterms. And he will tell you who won. He will tell you who won. And you're not going to believe this. It's not going to be the Democrats. The Democrats can't win, possibly. Can't possibly win because Donnie says they can't. He tells you the truth all the time on Truth Social. He told you who won in 2020.
Saved so many lives with one Sharpie.
I know, right? He can just redirect the hurricane with that Sharpie. He can just redirect the election. He can just redirect the votes with that Sharpie. It's fine. When he does it, it's going to be great. And it's going to be a thing to watch. And he's going to come out and he's going to tell you that he won't let the Senate go on, especially if the blue team wins. If the Dems win that Senate, he is absolutely not going to allow the Senate to sit. because they are going to vote to impeach him for his crimes, his many, 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 many crimes, including sending ICE to the polls, which hasn't happened yet, but will by then. So, yeah, that's why he needs Iran to go on. It's a conspiracy, and fine, I will put my hat on, and I will tell you that this is a conspiracy theory. I don't mind that. That's okay. I don't mind looking silly, kind of, sometimes, a little bit. But this is what I suspect will happen, and I don't like the idea. This is the next step within his takeover, is to get some sort of election malfeasance while he's in charge, and it's only going to get worse if he's allowed to win at the midterms. If that goes off, and that's why I'm saying a lot of the next few years is going to be determined this November. And not just because they're going to vote they're going to have enough senators to impeach him. What happens if the ICE does this? Do the Democrats do anything? Or do they just piss and moan and whine and cry? Do they write a sternly worded letter and complain about it and do nothing? Even though they won the votes and the votes got all dicked up. Will they just go with the court case, and then the court case gets overturned by a Republican judge, and then the red team wins? What do we do when that happens? What happens when that happens? And I don't know yet. It could go either way. It could spiral out of control into more protests, more violence. And I think there is going to be violence this November. No matter what we do, no matter what happens, no matter who wins this November, there will be violence. I'm not happy about that. I'm not asking for more of it. I don't want violence. I want people who vote Republican to recognize that they're doing a bad job, that Donald Trump is a fascist and they should not support him any longer. And lots of people are not supporting him any longer. His numbers are ridiculously low. And since we're talking about that, and I guess it's the War Powers Act, that's Pastor Mike Johnson. And he is going to tell us a thing. Let's see.
The War Powers Act on the House floor is being forced. They're going around the Speaker.
Because you won't bring it up for a fucking vote, you cowardly piece of shit. Whiny ass little bitch. They're going around him. He is the Speaker. They're going around him because he won't bring it up because he thinks he will lose.
With a discharge to bring that to the floor. I don't believe it'll pass, and I hope it doesn't, because we don't need to take the authority away from the Commander-in-Chief and the Pentagon right now at this critical moment. The Operation Epic Fury has long since ended. We're now in a new phase of this, trying to...
Operation Epic Fury is over, and now Operation Amazing Anger has begun. And when that one's over, we'll have Operation Enduring Grace. And then when that operation is over, we'll have Operation Amazing Super Skills. What he doesn't keep making up new fucking names for it. It's such blatant, obviously clear horse shit. But he doesn't care. He is a horseshit salesman.
to bring calm and peace to the situation. We need our international partners to help out. I'm very optimistic about that. The president is as well. But it's difficult sometimes to deal with people there when we've had a total change in leadership and they're still trying to get their bearings on who's in charge. So
it ain't you. It sure as fuck ain't you. He's the Speaker of the House and he doesn't know who's in charge. Who's in charge of the House? Donald Trump. That's who. Pastor Mike does everything Donnie tells him to do. And he's never seen anything. Yeah, exactly. It's Pastor Mike. So we have to bring up the Republican blind spot. Good old Pastor Mike hasn't seen anything, doesn't see anything, doesn't know where anything is, and hasn't heard about any damn thing. He doesn't know what's going on. He's never seen anything. He's got his head in the sand. He has no idea what's going on anywhere. He doesn't want the thing to pass, and they're coming around behind. They're going behind the speaker's back. You're the speaker. They're going behind my back. Say it like a human being, Mike. Pastor Mike Johnson. They're going around my back, and the reason they're doing that, Mike, is because you are preventing them from doing their actual jobs. Donald Trump hates the House and the Senate. He hates the Congress because they argue with him. The Congress, I'm going to shock you guys if you don't know this, is full of lawyers. Congress is made up of lawyers, and they know some things about the law. Donnie hates the law. Trump hates the law. He doesn't like it because he keeps telling him that he's a criminal. If you read the laws and understand them, you start to recognize Donald Trump is anti-law. He is unlawful in most of the things he does and says and suggests and pushes. That's why his fucking executive orders keep getting attacked by judges, because they're unlawful. Lawyers and Boebert. Yes, I know. She doesn't have any kind of a degree, does she? At least I have a journalism degree, you know? And I'll bet my journalism degree that they are going around Mike Johnson, because he's worried that it will pass. He does not want this thing that he doesn't like, that Donnie doesn't want this to pass. So Mike Johnson is standing in the way to make sure it doesn't pass, because he works for Donald Trump, not you, not the people, not the government. He does not work for the people in his Louisiana district. He works for Donald Trump. It's not the way the Congress is supposed to work. You're doing a bad job, Mike. You're doing your job wrong, incorrectly. What time is it? 1:15. Okay. I want to do one more bit about the airports. So I saw this and I wanted to rant about it a little bit. This will be the last thing we talk about today. It's about sanctuary cities. So stick around. Think about what does a sanctuary city mean and stuff like that. So this is Marquanye Mullen. I think it's an African name, Marquanye. It's very woke of them to have this African guy named Marquanye talking about being in the Trump cabinet. It's very nice. Ray, goodbye, Ray. When you're upset because I know more than you. Thanks, Ray. I appreciate the compliment. I do know more about you, more than you. So let's listen to Marquanye Mullen talk.
Let's bring me to the next topic. Is that you presented this yesterday?
Right.
Drawing up plans to halt international flights to anywhere the sanctuary cities, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. So no more international flights to those airports?
No, I wouldn't say all of them. I'm saying when we have situations, what's happening in New Jersey right now, when we have to prioritize where we put federal employees because local law enforcement won't help protect their streets, not federal streets, city streets, and keep them from barricading and causing harm to our employees, then we have to decide where we're going to prioritize our federal employees. So we're not going to halt the flights. What we're saying is we just won't be able to process them because we don't have officers there. We're having to pull out our Customs and Border Patrol officers that process these flights and put them in these facilities to help protect our employees coming out of work. That, by the way, and that's not their job. Their job is to do just what they said, Customs and Border Protection. However, since local law enforcement isn't able to do their job because they said, quote, they don't have the resources, well, we have to prioritize our resources as well. And if they're not there processing international flights, then those individuals, when the airlines land, they won't be permitted into the United States.
So that's Newark, and there's a airport in Newark. Do you see you having to take resources immediately, and that could have?
That's right, Brian. If things don't change, we're going to have to make this step pretty quick, because I'm not going to put my employees and my ICE agents at risk going to and from this, simply doing the job. By the way, they're doing the job and enforcing the laws that are statutory. If Congress wants to change those, if these left radical Democrats want to change it, they have the authority to change it. Right now, we don't make the laws. We simply enforce the laws that's on the books.
So some premium.
They enforce the laws that are on the books that they appreciate, that they like, that hurts the minorities the most. But what is he talking about? He's talking about rerouting planes away from sanctuary cities, because he doesn't know what a sanctuary city is. Nobody on the right does. They often lie and exaggerate what a sanctuary city is. Let's listen to this one next.
especially the fact that local law enforcement wouldn't respond. And so I visited with the White House today, Sean, and I said, you know, if they're going to not allow us to go out and arrest the worst of the worst, and then when we call for assistance at the facilities, that the street, it belongs to the city. If it belonged to us, we would take care of it, but it belongs to the city, and they're barricading our employees from coming in and out of the facility, then why are we processing international flights into the airport there? And we are currently, which we're not initiating yet, but we're currently drawing up plans to say, listen, in these sanctuary cities, where the local radical left Democrats aren't allowing us to do our job and enforce federal laws, then we shouldn't be processing international flights into their cities either, because they don't want us to enforce immigration, but they want us to process immigration at their facilities.
Yeah, we want you to do your job properly rather than hassle and attack innocent human beings. What is a sanctuary city? So he mentioned it here. A sanctuary city is a municipality that limits or denies its cooperation with the national government efforts to enforce immigration law. These jurisdictions prioritize local safety and community trust by prohibiting local law enforcement from inquiring about immigration status or detaining individuals solely based on federal immigration detainers. A sanctuary city is just not going to ask you about your immigration status. That's all. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's the terrible nightmare that the conservatives are talking about here. They don't ask you what your immigration status is. When Waldo gets pulled over by the cops for speeding, he gets a $100 ticket, and they don't ask about my immigration status. If Juan Hernandez gets pulled over by the cops for speeding, he gets a $100 ticket, and they don't ask about his immigration status. If Ji Hoon Park gets pulled over by the cops for speeding, he gets a $100 ticket, and they don't ask about his immigration status. That's it. That's the whole thing. The reasoning behind that is so that the poor immigrants won't be afraid to call the cops. Imagine if an illegal person witnessed a crime and they called the police, and then the cops tried to deport them. They wouldn't call the cops to begin with. And then the murderer gets away with crimes. That's usually bad for society. And yes, there are larger political machinations at play. The Democrats do see benefits from this in those cities. Giving the people a place to call home will give the city a tax base and eventually a voting base as they become citizens or their kids grow up and are born there and then grow up to vote for the people who are decent to them. This is reasonable. This is logical. And that's why Mark Wanier hates it. Fox News has invented a mad conspiracy theory that immigration sanctuary cities are where immigrants go to be immune from the law. Okay, they're allowed to just murder at a whim, especially if the victim is white people. Those immigrants can drive without licenses. They run your dog over. They can crash their stolen car right into your house, and the cops can't touch them. You, the good, straight, white, God-fearing American, can call 911. But the police show up and they say, sorry, can't arrest them. They're illegals. We technically can't even see them because this is a liberal sanctuary city. And of course, this is made up nonsense. None of that is correct. None of that is true. But that is what they tell you. That is what MAGA thinks sanctuary cities are about. It's sanctuary from the law, they say. And that's stupid. But sometimes the made-up shit that they fling around encroaches upon the real world. Sanctuary cities, famous was Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, New York with Dulles Airport, and the Newark with the Newark Airport. Gigantic, biggest, busiest airports in the world. Might have to have their traffic redirected to bumfuck Idaho. And that won't function. Let's look at this video. Let's listen to this one.
Secretary Mullen said he might have a plan to deal with blue cities who won't cooperate. Watch here.
We're going to pull out our Customs and Border Patrol officers that.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, you think about blocking international flights into sanctuary cities that are harboring illegal immigrants, who many of them who are violent criminals.
Most of them are not violent criminals. He's lying.
Send those international flights to red state
in bumfuck Idaho. That's what I'm saying.
Cities that aren't sanctuary cities, and the country will be safer and better off for it. I think Secretary Mullen is onto something here. This is a good idea to punish those cities.
Punish those cities. We'll get to that in just a minute, as soon as we're done with the logistics of this problem.
That are opposed to cracking down on illegal immigrants and restoring law and order. I like this idea.
All right.
Of course he
Senator,
does.
thanks for being with us today.
He hates you. He hates freedom. He hates immigrants, and he wants to hurt you if you disagree with him. Punish. We'll get to that. Hang on to that fucking term. Punish. As soon as we're done with the literal logistic facts. Every flight from not America would have to be rerouted to a red state so that ICE could molest the passengers before they move on to their final destination within a civilized part of the country. Incredibly stupid idea. Dipshittery on a gigantic level. Logistically impossible. The smaller airports wouldn't even have room at their gates for the extra flight. For the extra flights. Thousands of extra flights. Every airport I've ever been to was already overcrowded, understaffed, and chaotic as hell. And you want to make that worse? The smaller airports won't have the personnel to handle the influx of passengers. The routes would have to be changed and overcomplicated, causing increased costs and fuel usage. I don't know if there's a fuel crisis going on in the world right now, but I'm sure that would make this even worse of a fucking idea. And then that, in turn, causes fewer customers. And, shocking, gasp, ready for this? A loss in revenue. I know that's probably the biggest reason why this won't happen, is that it would cost the airline companies money. Airlines are already barely profitable. And this dipshit plan would make it more complex, more complicated, more difficult, more hoops to jump through, more hurdles to climb over, and the profitability would suffer. I'm not even an aviation expert. This is just what I thought off the top of my head. Can you imagine what somebody who actually works in this industry could point out? They could probably find 100 more fucking flaws of this stupid ass plan. The ignorance of these Dunning-Kruger specimens is astounding. MAGA is not filled with people who know things. In fact, Ray called me a know-it-all liberal. Yes, Ray. MAGA doesn't know anything. That's my biggest complaint about them. They don't know shit. They hate experts. They hate people who figure stuff out. They hate colleges. They hate intelligence. They hate people who know what the fuck they're talking about. Because MAGA and conservatism is built on belief, not fact. It is built on imaginary belief. MAGA is not filled with people who know things. MAGA is filled with people who wish for things. Markwayne Mullen is wishing that he could redirect all those flights. He doesn't know how many there are. He doesn't know how to redirect them, and he doesn't know where he's going to send them. He just wishes he could do it. He prays, which is just another form of wishing. That's all prayer is, wishing. And good news, this will be the cause of their ultimate downfall. MAGA does not know how the aviation industry works, so they can never make the planes fly on time. It was an old meme a long time ago that, yeah, the Nazis were bad, but at least the trains ran on time. And there's argument to suggest that they didn't actually do that. The trains did not run on time. And that wouldn't surprise me. Fascists are stupid. They always have been. They're not technically sound. They are emotional, 100%. And that is what you get with Markwayne Mullen. wishes, prayers, feelings all day long, but they cannot make the planes fly on time because they don't know stuff. Stuff and knowing takes logistics, and logistics takes facts, and they don't like the facts. So they toss all the facts that don't make them feel good. They don't know how the government works. I said it 100 times today. I hope you want to hear it 101st time, but they don't know how the government works. So they can't make the departments run properly. They don't listen to the lawyers. Donald says, let's do a tariff, and then he gets shot down by a judge. He says, puts his name on the Kennedy Center. He gets shot down by a judge. He says, let's sue Comey, and that's going to get shot down by a judge. He doesn't know how these things work. They don't know how the voting systems work, so they can't win elections fairly, which is why the midterms are going to be a fucking mess. They're going to cheat, they're going to lie, they're going to steal, they're going to gerrymander, and they are going to authoritatively tell you who won, even though the math is not in their favor. That will cause friction. That will cause people to protest. That will cause people to show up and call them liars to their faces. And that might lead to further violence. I'm not happy about that, but that is what will happen. Conservatives will lie to you about the planes being on time. They will lie to you about the government functioning properly, and they will lie to you about the results of the elections. They cannot be trusted, and that is why I have a need to come onto a webcam and tell you that they cannot be trusted. You already know it, but today we reached out to Ray, and maybe I planted the seed of doubt in his mind. 14,000 people clicked on my video about calling the southern states racist, and they were very upset about it. But maybe the 40 or 50 who gave it a thumbs up had their minds changed. We just do what we can. I'm not very good at much except talking. And even that, I'm not even that damn good at. But I'm going to keep trying. Now, punish. This is madness. This is insanity. The word punish.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, you think about blocking international flights into sanctuary cities that are harboring illegal immigrants, who many of them who are violent criminals.
That's a lie.
Send those international flights to red state cities that aren't sanctuary cities, and the country will be safer and better off for it. I think Secretary Mullen is onto something here. This is a good idea to punish those cities.
Is that what the government is for? Is that what we want the government to be doing? Punishing cities, punishing people for doing what's best for their population. That is some fucking war. That is some Civil War fucking talking point shit right there. That is some division. That is driving us apart. That is some fucking hate speech. I'll tell you what. Fucking punish. The government is to benefit the people, not be in charge of the people. And the conservatives have forgotten that. They think the government is to control what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And that is not what it's there for. The government is there to protect the freedom of the people. And the conservatives and the MAGA have forgotten. And it will not end with Donald Trump. It will not end with this midterms coming up, and it won't end with the next election. They will continue to try to control as much as they can for as long as they can. And we have to continue to try to stop them.
Conservatives want a dummy daddy to tell them what to do.
Yes, they do. That is a part of their personality. And I recognize that that is a personal trait that humans can be born with. I don't know if it's inborn or if it's learned. I've only met a few children who couldn't be better, you know? I only met one child really in my entire life who was just an asshole, and he was 2. I was like, wow, this guy's just born an asshole. So maybe you're born with it. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we can educate them away from that kind of thing. But again, education is a political process. where the planes land is a political process. Everything is political. And all politics are based on feelings. The more I do this show, the more times I say it, the more I think it is correct. I have not been led away from that idea yet. The conservatives want that Dommy Daddy to tell them what to do because it makes them feel good. This guy wants to punish blue cities because they make him feel bad. Those blue cities are filled with people he doesn't like. He doesn't like it when there are brown people in a city. And so he wants to punish them. And I don't like that. That's not your job, Mr. Jim Banks, Republican Indiana Senator. Your job is to help the people. Your job is to protect them, and you want to punish them instead because you are fucking backwards. Conservatism is a backward-facing ideology. Their entire head is screwed on backwards. Instead of protecting people, they want to punish them. Instead of making people into Americans, they want to kick them out. If you have the best country in the world and you tell everybody in the planet, you scream it from the mountaintops, America is number one. People in not America are going to try and come here because we're number one. And you have to have a plan for that. And the MAGA plan is to shoot them, honestly. Most of them, their plan is to just violently throw them out, violently prevent them from coming in. Reroute the planes so that ICE can harass them before they try and get off the plane. That's anti-freedom. I don't like that. The human freedom is more important than your fucking feelings, Mr. Jim Banks, Mr. MAGA, Mr. Red Hat. Human freedom is more important than your feelings, because your feelings don't mean all that much to me. That's it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thanks for coming in. Ray, if you're still here, thank you for coming in. I like arguing with people. And I hope you learned a thing or two. Eli, I'm sorry about the bridge, okay? I'm sorry the bridge thing happened to you. And I hope you can move on with your life. Thanks for being here, Jinzindo. Thanks, Any of it, for all the good quotes and the subscription again. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And Malachi, thanks for coming in as well. I know I saw your name on there again a couple of times. So if you want anything, if you want to leave something if you want to tell me what to talk about, you can do that on the Discord. Go over there, leave a link. And if I miss an important story, or there's something I got wrong, or something I got right, or there's something you want to yell at me for, or if you just want to say hi, go on over to the Discord, tell us what you're thinking, tell us what you're feeling. And that is it from me today. I will be back on Wednesday unless the Gestapo kicks on my door and drags me off to the gulag.